tell your story.
So, what's up, my peeps? MatrixNative here. Finally, operators, I have another build for you today. I had to do a little classroom instruction up at Selfridge Air Force Base in real life. With that being said, today we're doing a build on a unit that's very special to me. I actually served with this unit. However, we went by Task Force 158 and are now the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment Airborne, or just basically SOAR. As stated, I've got a lot of history with this unit, so I want to give big shouts out to anyone that served with Task Force 158 or are currently serving with SOAR. I know it's who are training. I know you love your fucking job. I certainly did. With that being said, let's get to the comments. Okay, my peeps, so as you can see, I posted a poll on Twitter on July 28th deciding what today's video was going to be. With that being said, also I want to apologize. Got called up to Selfridge to do some classroom instruction, and that is what the delay was on this build. So the results of said poll, basically the 160th SOAR group came in first, followed closely by the Royal Marines, Iraqi Spec Ops, and the SASR. So we're going to go ahead and get into a few more comments. If you hadn't followed me on Twitter, make sure you do so that you can vote on this week's build. BF150, hell fucking yeah. This is cool as hell, MatrixNative, a man that's down with his fans. Awesome vids from an awesome guy. Love the history, backgrounds, and you're cool as hell. I don't usually comment on vids, but this channel is great and underrated. Sub for life. Staying downrange. That is a fucking who of comments, my peeps. I mean, all you guys can leave great comments, but that one specifically really did make my entire day. Colonel Hamilton, yo, I love your vids. Can you think about doing the British Royal Marine Commando soon? Half Lobster, Colonel Hamilton, yes, yes, yes. Well, to both of you guys, if you didn't get on Twitter, it was on Twitter, and it only lost, I think, by like 6%. So you should have voted, and maybe this build would actually be the British Royal Marine Commandos. Terry Scroham, awesome bid. Once again, can you do one of the DEA fast teams? I can, and I'll probably put it on the poll this week. However, just got done with a law enforcement build, and I try not to do them back to back, but that was a great suggestion. Thank you, Terry. William King, been loving your builds, man. MatrixNative operator. Let's go, William King. Loving that profile pic too, my man. Derek, love the bid and the loadout. Keep up the great work. And thank you, Derek. I appreciate that. Alan, love the new theme of the law enforcement builds, Matrix. And I'm sure you do. And I want to say something about you, Alan. You always seem to leave a comment, and I appreciate you as well, bro. Jack Cameron, MatrixNative. What are your thoughts on doing an SASR build? Only if you feel like it. No worries if you're too busy with other builds. By the way, great video. Anyway, keep up the good work. Jack, yep, I understand that. I posted the poll last week. I hope that you went on my Twitter and voted, because it was definitely on there. It came in third. But you never know. It might be posted up this week as well. Okay, enough with the comments. I appreciate you all. Love you all. Keep leaving those interesting comments. And don't forget to go on the Twitter, because I'll be pulling a build off this week's list. With that being said, let's get a little history lesson in. So the United States Army 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment Airborne, abbreviated as the 160th SOAR, or just SOAR, also known as Night Stalkers, or within JSOC for those that don't know, Joint Special Operations Command as Task Force Brown. They have several names, which they also will go by Task Force 160, basically Tango Foxtrot 160. It is a special operations force of the United States Army that provides helicopter aviation support for general purpose forces and special operations forces. Its missions have included attack, assault, and reconnaissance, and are usually conducted at night at high speeds, low altitudes, and on short notice. The 160th SOAR is headquartered right now at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. So basically, they're an elite U.S. Army Special Operations unit who fly helicopters in support, as stated, of both SOF and regular forces. The birds you might see us in are MH-47 Golf Chinook, the MH-60 Mike Blackhawk, the MH-60 Mike DAP, the DAP, It's basically just a gunship variant, and of course the A8 6 mic MH6 mic Little Bird, the Stealth Ghost Hawk, which is basically the MH60 Black Hawk modified to include the stealth features. The role, as stated, again, the Night Stalker's mission includes insurgent, extraction of special operations forces, attack missions, reconnaissance. So basically the whole realm, my peeps. When I say reconnaissance, we actually do a shit ton of work with the LRS unit, basically long-range surveillance, known back in the day as LRP, long-range reconnaissance and patrol. When I was in, we were basically known as LRSR, which is long-range report surveillance unit. And as stated in the beginning, it was actually referred to as Task Force 158. And big shouts out to Task Force 158, and perhaps I'll put out another video on the Sea Spray and talk about some of the ops that I did within that unit. So at the time, Task Force 158 was the Army's only special operations aviators and had already become recognized as the Army's premier aviation night fighters. Their capability was judged too useful to lose, and so instead of returning the pilots and air crew and reconnaissance teams, they basically modified the aircraft and became a new unit. Original members of the Night Stalker referred to it as the day the Eagles came off. In 1986, it was renamed the 160th Aviation Group Airborne, and in May 1990, the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment Airborne. As demand for highly trained Special Operations Aviation's assist bloomed, the regiment activated 3 battalions, a separate detachment, and incorporated 1 Army National Guard unit, the 1st Battalion, 245th Aviation. In June 1988, the unit executed Operation Mount Hope 3. 2 MH-47 crews flew 490 miles, basically 790 kilometers, deep into Chad to retrieve a crashed MiG-24 Hind medium attack helicopter. After that, the Night Stalkers spearheaded Operation Just Cause, the 1989 invasion of Panama, and they were also used in Operation Desert Storm in 91. In October 93 in Somalia, Night Stalkers became involved in the Battle of Mogadishu, which later became the subject of the book Black Hawk Down and, of course, the movie. And on a side note here, I must say that I feel they did 100% on that movie, as it actually took part in the Battle of Mogadishu. Oh, and just for all you haters out there, yeah, I'm legit. So in recap, they were founded in 1981, around 36 years ago. Obviously, United States of America, part of the United States Army Special Operations Aviation. Basically, the size is about 2,700 to 3,000. They're part of the U.S. Army Special Operations Aviation Command, stationed at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Nicknames: Night Stalkers, 160th SOAR, Task Force Brown. Their mottos: Night Stalkers don't quit, death waits in the dark, 6 guns don't miss. All 3 Hua fucking mottos. So, with that being said, my peeps, let's get the fuck downrange and get on with this build. On your feet, let's go.
Grizzly, this is Darkstar. See you out. Darkstar copies all. Go ahead. Message to observer. Alpha, 3 rounds. AT delay in effect. 3 guns. Bravo, 2 rounds. 2 guns. Smoke on the deck.
You know what to do, operators. Let's go ahead and hit that back or select button. There we go. Now, before we get on with this, I just watched the president's speech, and let me tell you, man, he was talking good, in my opinion. I mean, our commander-in-chief, to me, hit it on with, leave a link below, and let me know what you think about all this shit going on. I mean, to me, in the Army, man, we bled green. I'm not saying there wasn't racism in the Army, but usually Once you get past the line units and such, man, it's voluntary, you know what I mean? So, I mean, there's not many people that want to be sleep deprived and fucked with, but for those that do, I'm just saying there's not a whole lot of racism involved, and in a lot of the specialized units, you actually vote. And I mean, just because you pass the courses and such, if the team doesn't vote you in, or whomever, you know, be it Force Recon, Special Forces, Ranger Regiment, I mean, if you don't get voted in, then you're not going to make it. It doesn't matter. You can be, you know, you can be Troy himself, and you won't get voted in if you don't get along with everybody. But, you know, Trump was just like, the left was wrong too, which they were, you know, at least the right had the permit and stuff. But anyway, guys, you know, I try not to get into too much of the politics as far as my channel goes, unlike Casey Neistat anyway. So go ahead, hit your loadout. Let's go into edit appearance. Now, before we get on with this load today, here's the dealio, right? Now, again, with the camos they offer and such, you know, I don't want every single build to be the same. So if I'm doing a couple of army builds, obviously everything would get put in the multicam or the OCP, right? So let's just keep that in mind when I go through this build today. So today, seeing how we are part of the Night Stalkers here, Task Force 160, basically we get to wear our own little desert kind of camo. So with that being said, let's get on to the head. And we're the only ones that can wear this in Wildlands as far as my roleplay goes, right? So let's go. We'll go with the facial hair. We're going to go none as always with the Warhawk, hair color brown, facial detail. I got the burn on the left side. Body details, facial paint, of course we're going to go with the Screaming Eagles because that is actually where they pulled the pilots for Task Force 158, as you know, as now Task Force 160, right? So basically, I don't know if I stated this in the history, but the pilots of the original Task Force 158 were pulled from the 101st Airborne. And why not? You know, 101st were airborne back in the day, but they were also really heavy in the air assault. So with that being said, that's when they became strictly 101 air assault. And they, even though I would say 90% of their personnel are airborne, the 101st is actually an air assault division. So with that being said, we're going to go Screaming Eagles. For the facial paint, right arm, we're going to go with Santa Maria, left arm, a Battlefield Cross. Clothes, tops, of course we're going to go with the Cry Combat. Why wouldn't we? Now, there is a different loadout if you're a pilot, and let's say, I usually don't do this, but I'm going to do it. If this Vidja gets over, say, 55 likes, then I'll do the pilot version of this. And who knows, I might frickin' do it anyway, to be honest. So, we're going to be equipping, again, let me reiterate this. If you would like, you can go with the multicams. I mean, that is actually what you'd be wearing since they don't offer the Scorpion Victor 2 pattern. That is actually what you would get deployed in these days, the OCP Whiskey 2. However, since they don't have it, go ahead, if you want to stay true to the build, put it in the multicam. But I'm telling you guys, in my role play, I just really like this uni. With that being said, if you want to follow my build, if you're going to role play with me and we go out as Task Force 160, we're going to go ahead and put it in the number 4. Vest. Today, my peeps, you know, I put a lot of thought into this as well. Now, this is going to be, as stated, the Door Gunner dismount build, right? And as I said, I'll probably put a pilot build, you know, with 55 likes. I might just put it out there anyway. I hate doing all that like bullshit. Anyways, there's 3 vests, right? Actually, any of these bottom 4 vests you can use as a Door Gunner. I was really flirting with putting on the heavy IBA. I think it looks meaty. I think it looks good as a door gunner. As a door gunner, I promise you, you will not be sitting on the skids the whole time. You will, on infill and exfil, have to move your ass from your platform and either like as stated, help the PJs out, you know, help the squad out that's coming in for the infill or the exfil. With that being said, if you're just going to be the door gunner, then just go ahead and put the heavy IBA. You're going to put that in Coyote Brown. However, for this build, I'm not hating you. Like I said, if you want to go heavy IBA, 511 Tactate. But for me, today, I'm going with the 511 VTAC LBE Tactical Vest. We're going to put that in Coyote Brown. Pants Cry Combat. Now, again, if you want to stay true to what they be wearing, you can, even because they don't offer the whiskey too. However, go ahead, throw your multicam on if you want. Multicam Madrid, it's really up to you. But we're going to go ahead and equip the number 4 Sandstone for this build, for my build for SOAR. Where we're going to keep on with the hiking boots, and we will be putting those in the number 16. Ghillie suit, obviously none. Accessories. Okay, my peeps, of course, we're going with, for the eyewear, we're going with the ESS ballistic goggles, just because of all the air wash that we will be getting, and we'll be putting that in the 17 black. Face wear, none for this build. Headwear, we're going to go with the FBHs this time around, the fast ballistic helmet. It fits the build, and you will be putting that in the number 9 Coyote Brown. Now, this camo we really haven't used a whole lot in any other builds. If you go check all our builds, operators, this camo is going to be unique to the SOAR. So let's go. We're going to put that in the number 9 Coyote Brown. Headset. Today we're going with the headset A. I just feel like it really it just fills out the headgear, it fills out the brain bucket, the goggles, it just all meshes together, where I think B and C are just, they're a little too thin for what I'm looking for in this build. So I personally will go with the number 1 black. Handwear, of course, Oakley Pilots, and you'll be putting those in the 5.5. Rucksacks, we're just going to go ahead and keep it clean with the camo back. Again, I don't anticipate being out in the field overnight on any kind of operation with SOAR, and if we are, then you will go ahead and probably pick up the 511 Rush. But for this build, we're going to go ahead and throw that in the 1333. Patches, again, if you want to go military, go ahead and throw that combat helicopter patch on. Flags, your country, do it up. I'd subdue it if I was you. And then, of course, for me, I'll be going with the Romeo 9. Let's go. And that is what we will be wearing in the field as a SOAR operator. So, with that being said, let's move on to weapons. Okay, my peeps, weapons. Basically, we will be equipping today the MK48. I mean, why wouldn't we? Also, we will go ahead and role play like this is the MK48 Mod 0, which is basically the NATO version of the 7.62 by 51mm. So we're going to go ahead and role play that this is actually the 7.62 variant, basically as stated, MK48 Mod 0. And again, we're a door gunner, so this just fits right. Now, I will tell you that in transport helicopters, you know, Hueys, such like that, Blackhawks, a lot of them, as far as the lower calibered weapon, not trying to say 7.62 is a low calibered weapon, but what I am stating in the lower calibered weapons, i.e. non-minigun type, basically, they basically still hang these for the door gunners in said transport helicopter. So with that being said, we're going to go into the paint presets. We're going to go ahead and equip it in the gray today. So once you get that in the gray, go ahead, head over to parts of stock, butt stock. We're going to go ahead and put that in the black. Scope, we're going to go with the panoramic. Now, there's a couple of things that I want you guys to think about here. There is no wrong scope for this. It's whatever you're comfortable with. Say going out to this range, this can shoot pretty much its max range is 300 meters. And remember, you're going to be a door gunner, and that has a lot to do with how we're going to build this weapon up today. Me, myself, I was thinking about going with the Micro T1 or the panoramic sight. I don't like the view of the EXPS3. I just, you really can't see around it. And as I've always preached about the panoramic as far as this video game, it's good because it really doesn't mess with your peripheral vision and such. So we'll go ahead and be equipping that into 2-3 black. Trigger, of course, full auto. Magazine, another reason we're going with the MK48 today. Say, instead of, which a lot of you guys know that the M249 is like my fucking tits bread and butter, the SAW, the squad automatic weapon, which I carried when I was in. I know that they've, since I think 2000, they've been using the MK48. So anyway, go ahead and put that bad boy. If you don't have the extended, don't worry about it. Just put it in the standard, but get that extended, especially for the door gunner build, and we're going to be putting that in the black. Under barrel, now, here's another thing, peeps. Deal with me on this. So basically, okay, as you see, I put the shift short angle grip, but I'm not going to hate you. Like, if you want a little more handling with the AFG, but I definitely wouldn't go any lower than the shift short, because as you see, the vertical forward grip, Victor 3, Victor 4, and Victor 2, although it gives you quite a bit of handling, you lose a shit ton of accuracy. So with that being said, we're going to go with the shift short angle grip, and if you want a little more handling, go ahead and go with the AFG. Now, I've been sort of going back and forth between these two sites, because I'm telling you, with this shift short, as long as you use decent burst fire, say, you know, 1, 2, 3 rounds. I know you're saying 1 round, come on, Matrix, you're fucking high. No, I'm really not, because I sniped somebody from about 500 meters from a skid using this sight, because the accuracy is just dead balls on, which that was during a stream, and I'm hoping to definitely post some of my streams up this week. But again, with that being said, I'm actually borrowing a PC today so I can get this build out. However, we're going to go with the shift short, and we're going to be putting that in the 2-3. Rail, keep it clean. We're going to be using the rail cover. Again, with the sights, it really doesn't help out your accuracy that much. So we're going to go ahead and equip that in the rail cover 2-3 black. Barrel, we're going with the long barrel. Again, we're going to be, you know, anywhere from its max, which is around 3,000 meters, to, you know, any up close and personal at 50 meters. However, remember, one of our main duties as a door gunner is grazing fire, giving those that are exfilled some covering fire and grazing fire, and then lighten it up, lighten the DZ up or the LZ up once you're approaching and doing your 90 turn. So with that being said, we're going with the long barrel today, and we're going to be putting that in the black. Compensator, of course, we're going with the Victor 2. If you don't got it, go ahead and put in the stock muzzle. But again, if I've stated on a million of my builds here, well, not quite a million, you know what I'm trying to say, you fucking fucktards. I've stated it in a lot of my videos to go ahead and unlock the Victor 2, because we use it on just a shit ton of our builds. So go ahead and put that in the 2-3 black. And that, my friends, is what we're going to be door gunning with on the skids or inside. Unfortunately, you really can't shoot from inside any of the variants of choppers that they give us on the Wildlands. However, this is what we're going with for the disc gunner dismount as our primary, the good old battle-tested MK48. Let's go. What a beautiful, beautiful freaking killer right there. Secondary, of course, operators, of course, we'll be going with the M4A1. That's what they use in real life, so why would not we go with it? Besides, it's one of my fucking favorite weapons of all time. So let's go ahead and edit this bad boy out. Paint presets, again, we're going to be going with gray here. We're not really mixing anything special with this build, so as far as paint camos, so we're going to keep it in the gray. Again, if you like blinged out weapons, I'm not the channel for you. I try to keep it as real as possible. Again, with the camo today, before I start getting all the comments about it, go ahead, equip it in the multicam, the tops and your bottoms, and you will be good to hook. But for me, I'm saying for this SOAR build, we will be keeping it in the camo I have it in. So let's go. Let's go into parts, break this bad boy down. Stock, bud stock, we're going to put that in the black. Digital scope in the black. Again, this is a lot. To stay true to the build, you would probably go ahead and throw on this EXPS3. However, I'm becoming more and more fond of the digital scope as I use it, and we'll be putting that in the number 2-3. Trigger, full auto semi, of course. Magazine, we're going to cap it out with the 50. That's a lot of fucking lead going down range. 50 freaking rounds. That's, I mean, if you think about it in comparison to the MK48, that is crazy that the MK48 being an LMG is actually only carrying with the extended 150 more rounds. If you don't have the extended open, you're going to go with 100 for your LMG, and you only have 50 more rounds than this badass M4 can carry. So go ahead, put it in the large cap 50. If you don't have it, go ahead, equip the 30 or 20 and put that in the number 23 black. Under barrel, why wouldn't we? Of course, the God Almighty sanctioned Haji Killer right here, the M203 grenade launcher. You'll be putting that in the 2-3 black. Rail, keep it clean with the rail cover. As usual, we'll go ahead and put that in the 2-3 black as well. Again, we're going with a minimal shadowing because, quite frankly, we're going to be in a bird. 9 times out of 10, it's either going to be in the tan. If you're in a tan bird, you could go ahead and equip this more in the desert camo. However, we're going to keep it in black to match most of the in-game choppers, more specifically the little birds. So, where were we? I'm sorry about that, my peeps. Yep, rail cover. We're going to keep it clean. We're going to be putting that, as usual, in the 2-3 black. I'm not hating you if you want to throw on a 3-dot or a laser sight, but to me, since you can't turn them off, it just ruins the effect. So go ahead, put the rail cover on, put it in the 2-3 black, and be hua like me. Barrel, we're going with the standard barrel this time around. Again, if we do get into some shit, we might as well go ahead. I'm not hating you though. If you want to put it in the long barrel, whichever you put it in, make sure that you go ahead and pick the gray camo on either long barrel or standard barrel. I'm not hating you on either. I just prefer the standard barrel and laying down grazing fire with my MK, and I have to get out and sprint, go get a buddy or whatnot. I'm going to go ahead and put the standard barrel on it for that purpose. Again though, not hating you if you want to go to the long barrel. Again, pretty much personal preference on this build, and we're going to be putting that in the 1-3. Muzzle, we'll go ahead and go with the stock muzzle. We'll put that in the black. We'll go ahead and make sure that your suppressor is equipped in the black. I can't talk today. Make sure it's equipped in the black. However, make sure you equip your stock muzzle and switch to suppressor on target as usual. And that, my friends, is our secondary right there, the M4A1 Colt, pure American and battlefield tested. Let's go. Okay, now for the sidearm, what you would actually be carrying is the M9, so you can switch to the M9 if you want. However, seeing how we are a door gunner and a little high-speed scout there, what we're going to do is go ahead and equip our M1911. I'm not hating you if you want to carry the M9, because that's what they carry and that's what the pilot is authorized. The only sidearm he is authorized to carry is the M9, but we'll get on with that. If I get enough likes here, I will definitely put my pilot build, and I think it will cover pretty much everybody. Go ahead and see what I got this bad boy in. Why is the silencer on? I do not know, but we'll go ahead. Paint presets, go ahead and put that bad boy in the blue-gray. Parts, we're going to go ahead, put the standard in. If you know me, I like it having 10 extra rounds. However, it just looks all kind of retarded. I prefer the 15. I would like to have 10 extra clips. However, it looks all kind of fucktarded once you equip it with the extended. However, in real life, you never know. I find it, they have these grips that you can actually put from the extension of the magazine, and basically it'll clip on and give your 3-4 finger a little more grip. However, for this build, I'm going to just keep it with the standard 15, and we'll be putting that in the 2.5. Rail, we're just going to keep it clean with the rail cover, put that in the 2.5. Barrel, we're going to go standard barrel, obviously, and we're going to be putting that in the gray. Muzzle, go ahead and yank that suppressor off. Keep it in the stock muzzle. Go ahead and put that in black. However, make sure your suppressor is also in black, but do not equip suppressor unless you need to on a hard target. Let's go. That's what she said. And that, my peeps, is what I'll be carrying today. Staying true to the build, the M9. Let's go. Again, though, I'm not really going to hate you. I'm not going to hate you if you carry the M1911. However, staying true to the build, we'll go ahead and switch that bad boy out to the M9. And I just gave you the build for it. I got a little confused there. I apologize for that. It has been a tremendous 10 days. If you follow me on Twitter, I'll post a little bit about it, just a little bit. However, that's how we roll, right? You got to roll with the punches really in life, just like all that stupid shit going on now. You know, I don't care what color you are, as long as we're in a foxhole, you got my back, I got your back, and that's just how we were raised. I mentioned it a little bit at the beginning of this video. I just, you know, I don't get it. It just seems like anything, and I'm just putting this out there, but it just seems like if you're on the right side, and most people on the right side are white males, basically you can do no right, and if you're on the left these days, you can do no wrong, and a lot of that has to do with that silly ass media we got going on. But here's the thing, we cannot let them divide us. But anyway, that might just be for a whole nother Vidja anyways. So go ahead and quit that M9. Everything else, as you can see, I did go ahead and upgrade my drone to the medic. I still haven't really unlocked a whole lot of flashbangs and such. The flare gun, I will tell you this. Now, this was pointed out to me. I know you used to be able to see the flare gun. It used to be visual. However, I have not been able to see the flare gun since the last patch, and why don't you go ahead and give me a comment below if you've ever been able to see it, because I know I saw it. It wasn't a random flare like when I was on PJ missions. This was from my teammate. They'd shoot the flare and I'd see it. So what we were doing now is we get a diversion lure. That's what we equip now, as well as a frag grenade, and I know you can equip them all, but that's not how we role play. So let's go. For me, for this build, diversion lure and frag grenade is what I'll be carrying and what I'll be authorized to use. The rest, my friends, is optional. And with that being said, my peeps, I really hope you enjoyed today's video. I really do apologize that I didn't get it out sooner. I've just had life smack me straight upside the fucking head. So, in closing, I hope you have an amazing day today. I hope tomorrow's amazing. I hope yesterday was amazing. And you know what to do. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and smack that subscribe. It certainly helped me out. Operator 41, catch you next video. Stay hooah, peeps.
Dreaming big, town is small, and it's going down. All I need is a microphone, I'm headed for the crown. Y'all call me whack, call me weak, say I'll never blow. Memphis bleak, they know like the radio that Henderson was meant to speak. I'm on these tracks, just like Thomas, I'm the truth, just being honest. Y'all a bunch of Martin and Anthony's, yeah, that's prima donnas. Wayne Brady, they know the deal. Henderson just show us